welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be looking at the Night of the Living Dead Criterion Collection Blu-ray. So I will be taking a closer look at the Blu-ray itself, and then at the end I will give my thoughts on the movie. So let's have a look at this bad boy. Right, let's have a look at this bad boy then. So first off, the artwork on this is absolutely stunning. It reminds me a lot of The Walking Dead, which I have all the graphic novels for, with the black and white. See, this is definitely a homage to what the old Night of the Living Dead and some of the old, and probably most of his zombie movies, but definitely using the black and white and everything. It might have been save money, but I think it works perfectly in the comic. But like I said, the art on here is absolutely stunning. So you have Ben, Harry and Barbara, three of the main characters. I love the decaying hands coming out towards them. It is. And I love that this is in black and white as well. The whole the case and all that. They could have done it in colour, but I think the black and white makes it. It seems that the movie's in black and white definitely makes it look beautiful. So yeah, I don't own too many of Criterion Collection, but I am looking to get more into them. So we have on the back end, it's just a write-up of the movie and some of the special features. So let's have a look on the inside, because the inside is where the magic is in this set. That is an absolutely stunning picture of some of the more grotesque looking zombies you've seen. So there's the main one from the beginning. It is, and then some of the others, all the decaying and all that. That is some very nice artwork. Unfortunately, I don't know who done the art for it, but definitely credit to him, because it is absolutely amazing. And then on the inside then, no art, just plain black, which I'm not too bothered with, because I think this movie, the art on the outside and all that definitely makes up for it. And then you have two discs then for the Night of the Living Dead, which are back to front colour. So you got black and white, but then the letters are white and the background's black on the back one. So yeah, very nice indeed. And we also get a nice little poster of the daughter, who's in her zombie form, but there it is. And yeah, it's the zombies in this one, you don't see in many now, but they actually use tools or weapons in this. They did. So she killed her mother with like a spade, a little spade type thing, gardening tool. A couple of them picked up like wooden things to bash down the door and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely ahead of its time, I think, for zombies and all that. But yeah, and on the back end we have a nice little write-up by Stuart Clawans, or Claws, and I can't say his name. Apologies for that butcher there, to be honest. But then you have all the cast and crew and credits for there. Mia Anarchy is loosed. So yeah, it's be a nice little read, which I'll have to do one day. So yeah, so that is the Criterion Blu-ray, which is an absolute stunner. Like I go in HMV quite a lot, and I always take a look at the Criterion, and be honest, man, this is probably one of the best artwork I've seen out of them. So this one's this. Next time though, I'll get on to the movie review. See you in a bit. Right, now we're on to the movie review portion of the video. So this film came out in 1968 and was directed by, obviously, the great George A. Romero. It is, I'm not a big fan of all his work. I do love his Night, Dawn and Day of the Living Dead. It is. I've seen the Crazies. I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but I wasn't a big fan of his Crazies. But I know he's got another one that's just been released. One of his old ones that never got released. I don't know if it's called the Amusement Park and all that, so I'll have to definitely take a look on that. I will. But yeah, after watching this, I've got a little taste of going out and finding more of his movies after this. But I still think this is one of, if not his best movie that I've seen and all that. It's such, for a small budget, such a simple movie. Just people trapped in a house with zombie monsters all outside trying to get in. So the movie starts off with Barbara and her brother Johnny going to their father's grave to lay flowers for their mother, who wants them to do it. So they have a little bit of bickering, like brother and sister, like siblings do, and all that. And they see a older gentleman in the grave, and Johnny teases Barbara that he's going to get her, where comes out one of the, if up there with top 10 greatest lines in movies in my opinion, when he's coming to get you, Barbara. Brilliant it is. And when she goes to apologise, that gentleman attacks her, and we don't know straight away that it's a zombie, but we find out about later on. So when Johnny comes to help her, they get into a bit of a scuffle and they fall over, and Johnny hits his head on one of the tombstones, unfortunately, and dies. So Barbara runs away, gets in the car, drives off, and finds an abandoned house, it looks like, in the wilderness, like in the back, in the woods. So she holds up there, and then we're going to introduce to the main actor of the movie, the main character, Ben, played by Dwayne Jones. So them two are trying to barricade the house up and all that. And then after a skirmish with the zombies, we see the other characters of the movie, which is Harry Cooper and his wife Helen Cooper, who have a daughter who's injured in the basement, and also Tom and Judy, a young couple who are holed up in there with them. So the rest of the movie then is Harry trying to get everyone in the basement to try and be safe, Ben saying no, we're staying up here and all that, there's more exits and all that, but Harry saying there's more chances of them getting in. So, and then you get a big scuffle then and all that, and we get to the main action point of the movie. You get a few little fights with the zombies, but we get on to the main action part of the movie then, which is them trying to fill up a car so they can get out of there, a truck. But unfortunately, Tom, one of the young part of the couple, him and his girlfriend get unfortunately blown up in the car because they try and fill the car up with petrol, but before he can get in, he's already pressed it and it goes onto a bit of flame, catches the car on fire, and when he tries to get away from the petrol, unfortunately the car explodes. So Ben gets back into the house. Harry wouldn't let him in at first, but he gets in and they have a skirmish. Ben shoots Harry, and then Harry escapes down into the basement, but his daughter, who has been bitten earlier in the film, which you don't see but you get told, rips off his arm, which is, for a movie back then, it's probably definitely, it's like nothing to today's standards in movie, but it must have been really grotesque for the viewers back then. So she's in, and then when the wife comes down, the daughter kills her with something, I can't remember what the word is, but a little, like not a little spade type thing you use for gardening it is. So yeah, kills him, and then Barbara and Ben are trying to barricade the house, but Barbara gets distracted by her dead brother, who's come back to life as a zombie, standing in front of her, and he grabs her, takes her outside, and unfortunately she gets her. That's her demise. Ben just escapes down into the cellar, shoots the kid, which you don't see, it's off screen really, and all that, and he holds up down there. And then you get probably the most iconic part of the movie is when you see all these town folk, all these people who are hunting the zombies, killing them, get to the house. Ben, he gingerly gets out to the basement, and when he looks through the window, they think he's a zombie and shoot him in the head. And then you have the last scenes of the movie is like still pictures of him dragging his body out of the thing, putting him in zombies, and they lay him right next to the first zombie you see in the movie, the guy from the cemetery, and lights them all on fire. So yeah, that's the gist of the movie, and like I said, simple premise, but damn it works, because you've got a good filmmaker and crew behind it and good actors and all that. Like today's standards, some of the movies really, as being a horror fan, some of the movies you get out these days, like I'm a big fan of Hereditary and the first two Conjurings, the first Insidious and movies like that, which I think are standard of, but you don't get many good ones out these days, unfortunately. But that's a discussion for another day. But this movie, yeah, everything about this movie, the acting, apart from the acting is stellar all the way around, especially by Ben, Dwayne Jones and Carl Hardman, who played Ben and Harry respectively. They're really good. Marilyn Eastman, who plays Helen, Harry's wife, is very good. Keith Wayne and Judith Ridley, who play Tom and Judy, the young couple, they do an adequate job. They're just there. Judith O'Dea, who plays Barbara, and I can't remember, I don't know what the actor's name is, it's not on IMDb, but who plays Johnny, he's good in the little bits he's in, and she's good there. She plays very good victim of someone who's just losing her mind through the whole ordeal and all that, but she does come back together a bit at the end until she sees her brother. But yeah, it's a film, I'm not too sure what the budget was for this film, but obviously it won a big budget and all that, but they uses it wisely, the budget, let's say. Like, I love some of the camera angles that they use. There's like a couple of lowish ones for the fights and all that, makes the scene pop a lot. Yeah, being in black and white is definitely a plus for this movie. I don't think it would have worked as well personally for me being in. I would like to see more black and white movies these days, especially horror movies. I think they elevate the movie a bit when you have them in black and white. But yeah, the narrative of the story, you could probably say, seeing as Dwayne Jones is a black man who is the main actor of the movie, and he's the only coloured guy in the movie. So, but I think George Romero has come out in interviews and said he never saw it that way as him being a black guy being the thing. He was the best actor who auditioned. So I'm pretty sure I said, if I got it wrong, leave a comment down below if I have. But yeah, you could say his thing, because even the last scene seems he's the black guy in the window and they shoot him. Did they know he was human, normal human, or did they think he was actually undead? I like to personally think that they didn't know he was a zombie. He was still alive, but just the way the main, like, this is sheriff and all that, just comes out and says, "Oh, that's another one for the bonfire. Just throw him on." But yeah, it's a great little. You could probably do a full-on essay, and people probably have done full-on essays of the meaning behind this movie and all that. And yeah, it's a thing for it's a good commentary for even how things are today in society. Unfortunately, it is. But like I said, this is it's not a 10 out of 10 film for me. I give it an 8. This is definitely an 8 out of 10 movie. It is. Like I said, a bit of the acting is a bit hammy in points. You could tell it's a period between the old 40s and 50s movies and going into the new 70s and all that with the music. Some of the music is played really well. Like, they're going into a new era of movie. but some of the music as well is like some of the same stuff you hear back in the 40s and 50s and some of the movies back then. But you know, this is an important film, I think, in cinema. It's a bit like Psycho as well, where it's a transition between the old going into the new, and then we get into the 70s movies then, which are a little bit more a little bit more atmospheric with the music and all that. So you can tell this was this was a good carried on point where they had these movies and it was like pushing its way into what we got in the 70s, and then the 80s came along in the 90s. Like each era is really different and all that. But yeah, I love this movie. I'm glad I picked it up from HMV. I've always had it. I used to own it on DVD. Sold my DVD collection off ages ago when I upgraded the Blu-ray and 4K. But I've always had that in my hand, and yeah, I just went, nah, I'm buying it this time. Definitely buying, especially the Criterion collection, which I'm hoping to buy a lot more of. I've only got a couple right now. I've got a few. I got that one, The Irishman, and 12 Angry Men. So, but yeah, this movie, love it. I don't know whether it's my favourite out of his trilogy of the Dead. I have to rewatch Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. It's been a long time since I watched them two, but I'll have to rewatch them sooner or later. And yeah, but it's definitely up there top 20 favourite horror movies of all time. It is. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more reviews. I guess I will be doing more reviews, like talking about the Blu-ray art and all that and some stuff, and then a movie review afterwards. So look out for them, and I will see you next time. Bye.